Hello, back again with another awesome video. Well, today's video is going to be about spirit possession, dancing, and music. You can say that they're intertwined when we're talking about spirit possession. Coming from the tradition of voodoo. An African-based tradition. Uh, Music is a tool in many voodoo ceremonies itself. Music, I would say, doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be African centered for one to experience its influence on the individual soul. Let's just talk about music itself for now. Music itself is beyond just I would say sound. Music itself is like a language that communicates and directs our spirit or soul. Basically, the music, depending on what its theme is, that depends on how our spirit is moved. You know, so let's just say music itself you can say it has the ability to change our mood, or what we call spirit, itself. But it also has a means of being able to, let's just say, modify our soul. Our spirit is our energy which radiates from our soul, or or the energy which comes from our soul. The music, what it does is it causes a transformation of the soul. Some music or some drum patterns itself can change the soul's character. I mean, if you want to go back into the breakdown of the soul, there's different parts to it, but we can say that the soul is mutable to a degree, and it's susceptible to suggestions itself. So when the drum player is playing, when you're playing a song to invoke Ogu, or that basically that pattern brings out Ogu. So some things, some patterns can bring out different other parts or personalities. So this is the whole musical influence behind spirit possession. What possession actually is that, let's just say, we can look at possession from a psychological point, and we can look at it from a spirit point. The psychological point is let's just say, the personality taking a change, but the spirit portion of it is more of, we can say, when let's say on a spirit side, there's we know that there's physical plane, and there is what we call in voodoo, what we call, let's just say, you can say Guinea, which is a spirit realm. We can say in English is the astral realm or the spirit realm. We can say that a lot of things, the energy of things, dwell on that plane, or the astral, or the soulish thing, the soulish part of the human being, or animals, plants, all these things dwell on that plane. What we don't see is what goes on behind the scenes. So when you're out in the club dancing and stuff like that, you feel good. I mean, for me, I'm definitely into golf culture, so I'm always in the golf clubs. So when I'm dancing golf music, let's just say, if I'm listening to Joy Division, I may get a little, happy and stuff like that, dancing with the melody. Where if it's industrial music, okay, I get very angry, very warlike. So it's like, that's what music does. Music, it brings out those personalities. That's one way. You can say that let's just say it modifies the soul to a degree. Now, where the possession comes into play, let's just say this: that possession, we can say it comes into play. We can say possession is actually trance. That's what it truly is. Trance, it is basically a form of a trance, because it's more of like you're going into an altered state of consciousness, where your consciousness changes from its normal, let's just say, from who you are to a different level of experience. So with possession, we are looking at it as, okay, on the spirit side, what happens is that we can say a foreign entity may come into your field and you gain the influence of it, or you can look at it from a perspective of your own energy just changing whatsoever. Let's look at it like this. Different spirits have different ways they manifest. Now, if your spirit is, let's just say you're being the medium for the music, you can say whatever the music theme is, that is what you're going to represent in your dancing. So if it's like an angry warlike sound for like let's just say drum patterns and stuff for war, you're in the mood, you're walking like a soldier, this and that. That's what your spirit is basically reflecting itself. So if it's about love, you're gonna find that the theme of the music is about love, or the drum pattern is about love, or whatsoever it's. Therefore, you're gonna find yourself in the melody mood, the mood of melody, of moving, swaying in a soft, gentle manner itself. So depending on the music, the theme of the music, that pretty much dictates, how you will react or move. Same thing with food. I mean, we can look at it, the food is like an outside source. It's a stimulant. Drugs, same thing, legal and illegal. These things affect our awareness itself. So let's just move away from that with another level of a possession. What we could say, let's just say about mediumship with counsels and stuff like that. Spiritual counsel. When we're talking about mediumship in readings and stuff like that, that's we could say to break that down, I would say that falls in the line of how can I say this? Well, it is possession, but it's another. I would say when the spirit comes into you, I wouldn't necessarily say that. It's more of like, let's just say this. You are allowing your own individual soul to basically, you're allowing your own individual soul, to basically communicate. Let's just say, if you want to look at it from a spiritual perspective, on the astral perspective, because we got to look at it like this. The spirit, I think in one Pataki I read before, basically the story I've been told about Eshu whatsoever. This is spirit not of voodoo whatsoever, but this is in, more of the Ifa and Spanish tradition. There's a story. Now I want to say this before because I know people are wondering how can it be a possession where it's your spirit, but then again it's a foreign spirit on the astral plane. Let's just look at it like this. There's a lot of perspectives, but I want to talk about this Pataki so people can follow me when I'm talking about this. Basically, the story goes back to Eshu, where two friends were basically arguing about, Eshu's color is red and black. Let me just put it like that. Basically, one side of the hat was red, and the other side of the part was, another side of the hat was black. Basically, one person saw the red side, they started arguing. Another person saw the black side, they started arguing whatsoever, saying the hat's red. The other one saying the hat's black. But in reality, these are just perspectives of the same individual. So same thing, we gotta look at the possession thing. The possession we can look at it from one perspective where it's just, okay, something that's happening individually. We can look at it as something that's happening subconsciously. We can look at it as something that's happening spiritually. So there's many ways you can look at possession itself, So to talk about the reading aspect, when a person is, they're talking to you as Bawon Samedi or something like that, what it actually is that we can look at it from the subconscious perspective where the person's, has voluntarily switched into the Bawon Samedi, or we can look at it as more of, in a sense, automatically, where the person just, whatever it is, their spirit, they go into trance and they allow the spirit that's working with them to come through and communicate. Or we can look at it spiritually as basically a foreign entity coming from the astral plane and affecting the person's spirit astrally whatsoever. Or you can just look at it as basically just, again, the individual soul just basically shape-shifting itself, So, also, the way, let me explain something. Depending on like now going into possession a little deeper, depending how strong your possession depends on how strong you have a connection with your spirit, or the spirit. Like for me, I work with a lot of Lwa. I guess let's just say in Nigerian tongue, it would be considered as Orisha. Ifa, same thing. Santos, Santeria, same thing. Santo or Orisha whatsoever. Basically, the strength of the possession depends on how strong your connection is with your Orisha as well. Because again, the people that are serving ritualistically, the saints, or it's Lwa, whatever, they got a different experience when they experience possession. They may be a little stronger because these personalities have amplified their own personal energy. So when I'm in the clubs, for those of you that's watching this video from my club whatsoever, the club that I go to, y'all definitely know that I'm a hot ball of fire. But basically this hot ball of fire comes from the fact that I deal with a lot of hot spirits. So the thing is, when I'm like up and fiery whatsoever, I mean, that's the reason why. Basically the thing about possession, we need to get this thing get this thing clear. Possession is not you just rolling on the floor like you're acting stupid. No, it doesn't work like that. That's not what it is. I mean, you got a lot of people out here talking about eating glass and eating fire. This is not possession. These are tricks. Let me explain this. These things right here do not give credit or just prove the validity of one's experience, of possession. These things are tricks, I mean, these are not, these spirit, when you happen in possession, is not you get supernatural powers and stuff like that. This is exaggeration itself, You definitely got an influence, yes. What you do is still under your control, your free will, Yes, sometimes when you're in the zone, you just wonder like, damn, sometimes you snap back, you're like, holy shit. How did I fucking do that? Because it happened so quick. I know I'm going on the 12-minute mark right now. I'm going to conclude this video. Other than that, hopefully this video is informative. For those watching, I know there's going to be some new people watching this video whatsoever. And please don't hate, just like, subscribe. If you don't like my video, please don't thumb it down, basically because you hate my personality. But hopefully if this video is informative, I would love for you guys to like and subscribe. And I'm out. Peace out. Have a wonderful day.